What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video where I'm going to give you guys a crate walkthrough as a response to Jay from Bearded Dad Fishing challenging me to do the crate walkthrough, and then I'm going to challenge a couple guys at the end. I also want you to watch this video all the way to the end because I'm going to have a chance for you to win my crate setup plus the new track packs from the folks at Yak Attack. So basically, I'm glad Jay asked me this when he asked me because I'm actually in the middle of a transition. I used to do the Yak Attack black pack in the 16 by 16. I would have bags in there. I'd have a ton of boxes, but I would also have my first aid kit and all my stuff attached to the crate. As I've started to try to downsize, try to minimize and try to balance the weight in my load and the simultaneous release of these Yak Attack track packs, I started evolving my system. So in the beginning, a lot like Jay, I had my first aid kit, my plug knockers, my everything you can imagine was in my crate, but I was also using the 16 by 16. For the most part, I've moved over to this 13 by 16 from the folks at Yak Attack and the Black Pack Pro, and you're gonna see that the way that I do my system now is a lot more organized for me, but I've also spread some of my gear out around my boat. So first and foremost, I love these bags from the folks at Lakewood Tackle. They got a zipper that runs up both sides, and then they've got dividers inside here. So I can put the lures that I'm using the most in here. They dry out. I keep my plastics from getting too smashed like in the worm binders because that has a tendency to ruin them. And so as long as I don't have this thing packed so tight that I'm gonna ruin my lures, I always have one of these under my seat, just like so. What's really cool about these new black pack or these new track packs is they fit in the black pack, but they also fit directly into my junk drawer perfectly. And just like everybody else, you know, prior to these boxes and prior to me reorganizing my gear, I would have junk in my junk drawer, which was a pain in the butt, especially if you got a belly like mine, trying to find something in there. So what I've done instead is I've transitioned to a system where I'm using these smaller Plano boxes. And these little boxes like this, I'm gonna keep only what lures I'm currently using. So this week I've been throwing a lot of crankbaits. When it warms up, I've been throwing the whopper plopper, going back and forth between two sizes. I've got the 110 tied on and I got this little 90 stuck in the box. So I've got my crankbaits. I've also got some jackhammers and some mini maxes. The other two boxes over here are my plastic boxes. And so I've got flukes, which have been really killing it on Gunnersville lately. In one box, I've got all the different sizes and colors in there. I like to put them in this box too because I can throw some bait fuel on there and really get them juiced up, and I don't have to reach inside the bag to get them, my hand all nasty and all that good stuff. So then I've also got Cinkos. Now I have learned I don't like to put a lot of extra scent on Cinkos. I actually left one in here to show you guys the difference. When you put scent on Cinkos, it goes from a green pumpkin to this like hot orange color. Now that hot orange color will actually catch fish. I just don't like to put scent on and marinate my Cinkos in it because they absorb it and they swell up. I will put it on there topically right at the time that I'm going fishing. So right now, fall, I've got two plastic boxes, which are flukes and Cinkos. I got them right there in the junk drawer where I can reach down and grab them really easy. I've got the other two over here. And then what I've done with this system for these boxes is the one goes on the track right beside my seat is the stuff that I'm using the most. Real good shad bite going on right now. Got 2 or 3 spinner baits in there. Got some shad baits. I've got these little Kayak custom baits on here. I've been using these standalone and I've been using them on a Alabama rig. So basically all my shad stuff in one box. I've got, you know, the other stuff that I'm throwing in the, sorry, that box is actually empty. I put it in there just to show the example. I've got a couple Cinkos in this one to refill that other box. So basically these boxes are backups, and this is kind of like the warehouse. So it goes from the warehouse to the backup box to the box that I'm using. So that way I can still carry plenty of gear. I always keep one of these under the seat, just like so. It's easy to grab. I keep my kind of my secondary track pack right here, and then I keep the primary one mounted right on top of my box, and it allows me to have, you know, whatever current hook size I'm using, whatever 4 or 5 plastics or the things that are working at that time. Using these 3-inch Zaccos for trailers, using these missile baits. Both the Destroyer and the D-Bomb is killing it right now. And then I've got a few other, you know, plastics mixed in. I've been having a lot of luck on these Savage Gear wedge tails, and these things are absolutely killing it. So I got a couple of them in there, and that one's right there where I need it. This one's kind of my secondary. I've got my 2 backups underneath, and then over in the box, I've got 2 more that go inside the box that basically allow me to have more backups. And what's crazy about these things is they lock together, or you could separate them. And so in one box, I've got some Excite baits that I've been doing really well with these creature baits. I also like their swim baits, their Shad Nasty, on my Alabama rig or thrown as a standalone. I use different swim baits for different reasons. I love some missile stuff. I love Kayak, and I also really like what Excite Baits has got going on with their Shad Nasty. Actually, going back to this, again, these things just click together, so it makes a real nice system. So again, I wasn't doing this 2 weeks ago, so Jay calling me out right now is almost perfect. If you want to come look in my box, the only other thing I've got in here is I've got a Jig Box right now because I'm doing really well with the jigs. I've pared way down to 1 terminal tackle box with this Plano Edge, and then I have my backup box, the stuff that is not my primary, in the additional bag in the back of the black pack. And then the one thing that I like to throw between my legs is this Plano oversized Ziploc bag. Which is cool about this bag is I do a lot of guiding, okay? And when I'm guiding, I like to have a bag that I can just give to the client. So I'll put a mix of flukes and ribbit toads, some missile baits in there, you know, some additional flukes. Something that if you're not throwing this right now in the fall, and especially in the rivers, these old school twin tail grubs from the folks at Yamamoto, you're wrong. Throw this or you're wrong. These things kill it. So again, I use this oversized Ziploc bag because it's perfect. I like putting it between my legs in the river, and you just cinch that thing down and then you're good to go. So I use that because, again, I can hand it to a client. I don't put one of the Yak Attack track packs on top of my black pack like I was doing with the 16 because I mount my camera mounts on top of here. I may be doing that, but come around here, let me show you what I do instead. And this is why my system is not all in my crate like it is with Jay. I really like this sideline bag from the folks at Bonafide. So I've got some spare hooks in here, some spare line. Again, I've got my primary stuff in the front pocket. Actually, I'll do it in order. I got my primary stuff in the front pocket, which are backups to the backups up there. Again, Zacos, the Excite bait that I'm catching them on at the time, which just so happens to be a purple lizard. You can throw a purple lizard year round, but it definitely in the fall, late spring, and or late winter and early spring. Some more D-shads as backups. This thing is cool because I can put my tools on here. I got this back package for whatever primary hooks I'm using at the time. I'm scooting bottom baits and creature baits with that keel weighted hook. I'm using the oversized hooks for punching. I'm using the bigger hooks for top toads and frogs. So those are right there in that package. It's got a magnetic closing on it. I put a line cutter's ring cutter right there on it because when I'm standing here rigging my rods up, I like the ability to just kind of just go through that cutter. And then, like I said, inside of here, I just got the primary plastics that are backups to my front. If I need them, I got them. I don't have to go dig through my crate. I don't have to go dig through packages. I've got a system now to where everything is organized. One of the things that Jay did is he had all of his stuff kind of connected together. I like to have my boga grip connected to one of the micro leashes and then connected to one of the defenders so it doubles it up. So I can click the fish on this and let it swim around. If it's so short that it's just pinned up to the side of the boat, it's not going to be able to move around. The boga grip's a little bit heavy, so I oftentimes change this out with a fish grip, but I have this on there this time of year because I'm expecting, not hoping, expecting to catch a donkey. And when you catch a donkey, you want to know what the weight is. I've got my tools on here. I always, did I say always, have a first aid kit. I've got 2 first aid kits in my truck. I've got an extra one in my front hatch. I've got one behind the seat pack. And this is, listen, I'm a little more anal because I was a combat search and rescue guy in the Navy, EMT, paramedic, all that good stuff. So I'm always going to be like extra prepared. If you're going to go to more of a level A, level B, more advanced kit, make sure you understand and know how to use everything in here. What I like about these adventure medical kits is these guys actually have a sportsman series, and on their website, they actually break down and have a video series on how to use everything in the system. If you're a guide, if you're taking other people out, if you're fishing more than a couple days a month, actually, if you're fishing in general, the way we fish in kayaks, you need to have a first aid kit, and you need to have it where you don't have to dig it out. So I always slide it into this dead space, which is why you don't see it on the back of my seat, okay? Always, always, always have a first aid kit. So I'm gonna come around the other side. You guys stay right there. I'm gonna talk to you about this system again real quick. I used to carry everything in my crate. Now I like to have a little bit of extra room on each side. I mount my camera pole right to the top of it, okay? I've got my rod holders set up to where I got 2 in the high and dry position and then 4 in the low position. So I can put my longer handle rods back here, and I can put my shorter handle rods up here. And again, one more time, I like these Lakewood tackle bags. These things are phenomenal. So I keep my backup back here. I keep my other one underneath the seat. I throw 2 of these boxes from Yak Attack in there, and then I've got 1 terminal tackle box, which is the Plano box, and then I've got 1 seasonal box. Again, remember, I've got those 3 or 4 smaller boxes up front, but I've got 1 seasonal box. And when I say seasonal, whatever is relevant, but jigs are always in season. So this jig box from the folks at Groove is always with me. If you don't have a Groove jig box, you owe it to yourself to check it out. They're by far the best jig box on the market. The jig box kind of holds up my terminal tackle box. I throw these in here just like so. Again, I got my backup plastics in my guide pouch. I throw my terminal bag on top of there from the folks at Lakewood, lock that down, and there really isn't a whole lot more to it. So guys, that is my crate challenge. But what I'm gonna do is I want you to go to the Yak Attack website, and I want you to comment Yak Attack Black Pack Pro and 3 accessories that you would mount to it. I'm gonna pick 1 winner for a full-blown prize package of a Yak Attack Black Pack Pro, and I'm gonna pick 3 winners for a 2-pack of the track packs. So again, go to the website. Don't put the links because YouTube will shut it down, but just put the name of the Yak Attack Black Pack Pro and the size that you want. Put 3 accessories in the comment that you would want to mount on your Yak Attack Black Pack Pro, and I'm gonna pick 1 winner for the grand prize package of the black pack that they picked and everything in the video. And I'm going to give away 3 2-packs of the Yak Attack track packs. These things are bad to the bone. When I first got them, I didn't exactly know what I was going to do with them. Now they are completely changing the way I organize my tackle, my gear, and have my lure system set up on my Bonafide SS127. Really looking forward to further refining that on the new Power or PWR 129. So stay tuned for an updated video on that once I get it all set up. And so for now, I get to call out 2 other knuckleheads to do the same thing. So Gene, the Fluke Master Jensen, I'm calling you out to do a crate challenge, and JT Hickman from Two Brothers Fishing and Fishing with Gramps, I'm also calling you out. Let's see how you've got your kayak crate set up, what you have in it, and then you guys need to call out a couple of other anglers. And for all of you guys out there that want to do a video on it, do the video, use the hashtag kayak crate challenge, and we're going to see if we can turn this thing into something. Anyway, appreciate you guys, love y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.